It's going to be a perfect segue into Mercedes Brennan's presentation. Mercedes, excited to see what you got. Let us
Hi,
see.
everybody. Nice to be here. Thanks, Jay.
All right.
Well, I was intrigued by Wendy's property. It looks to be just a beautiful place. I don't know Florida very well, but it reminds me of kind of the Caribbean or a typical tropical place where people are going to really want to come. And on my presentation today, I am going to be focusing on one particular area of her rental properties. She has a lot, and so I'm going to be focusing on the bedrooms, because the bedrooms, there is so much power in seducing a potential guest into booking your place by having really romantic bedrooms and just beautiful bedrooms in general. So I'm going to do the same thing Tyann did and share my screen.
Okay.
And go into PowerPoint.
This will be interesting to see. So you're going to show how to take different properties, like the bedroom photos of different properties, and make them more attractive.
I
like
am. I mean,
like
you can see this first bedroom, for example. I'm gonna just sort of show you, her different bedroom shots. I took 4 properties that she has, and but I'm really going to be concentrating on one particular room. But you can see that I would say that Wendy's bedrooms all sort of share some common elements, and I'm going to be talking about these common elements, and they're actually quite problematic, and they're very typical problems in vacation rentals, and so this really applies to pretty much everybody that has a vacation rental, unless you're the lucky 2 or 3% that really maybe has some designer background or has some education in design. So so you can see that here's a typical bedroom. She has a bedspread and decor. It looks like she bought her pillows at a decor store. All the bedrooms kind of have the lights on either side with the sort of kind of an old-fashioned lamp shade and store-bought prints. Basically, when I look at her photos, there's nothing really spectacular about these bedrooms. They look clean and they look nice, but I don't look at these bedrooms and say, wow, I look forward to spending time in the bedroom,
Right, I agree with you, Mercedes. It's like, oh, okay, I'll sleep there, I guess.
Yeah,
but,
I mean, they're fine. They're fine, and they're just, I don't know, there's just nothing really very special about them, and I'm just going to basically tell you what the problem is, and they're Motel Style vacation rental bedrooms. So just say no. So, and they're not hotel style, they're Motel Style. They remind me of the kind of bedrooms that you would go in if you're on a long road trip with your family and you stop in and you say, okay, let's stay here for the night, and there's and so they're just kind of, and there's just sort of this generic quality to them, and people do not want Motel Style bedrooms with vacation rentals. They don't want this.
Can you go back to that for a moment?
Yes.
Can you go? I mean, the one on the top left, and the one on the bottom right. I mean, those really look like those comforters really kind of date the bedrooms and the property, and just kind of start guessing about everything else being up to date when you see things like that.
Yes,
exactly.
Yeah, very much so. In fact, I'm wondering
how the TVs look. Are the utensils, going to work well?
Right. It's very standard. It's what you would expect if you're going to be passing through. But obviously, Wendy wants people to be staying in her rentals for a long time. So, this is the message she's giving.
She has some oceanfront properties that are very on the higher end. So she really has to reflect that in the condos and rentals themselves.
Right. Yes.
So this is what you're saying it represents.
Yes, I mean, this is the message she's giving with her bedrooms, so, and this is where she wants to be. She wants to, when people think of vacation rentals, they think of, hey, I get to rent this amazing beachfront property and it's going to be a really special experience. I have a week or I have a weekend away and I want this to be really special. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to go into specifically how to address this. So we have 4 big problems here, okay? The first one is, you can see here, the looming ceiling fan. I want you to just look up at the ceiling fan and imagine yourself in that bed, right? You're in bed at night, you're about to go to sleep. There's very little light in the room. It doesn't look like there's the table lamps are giving much light off, and so you're going to turn that light on probably with a switch, and you're going to get that looming ceiling fan. The looming ceiling fan. We do not want this, okay?
Okay.
And this is, I swear, I deal with this in almost every vacation rental that I renovate. Everybody seems to want these, and I understand that we need air circulation, but let's get rid of those awful bulbs. I mean, they're just, okay, so guys, this is what the bulbs feel like, this, okay? I actually saw this movie the other night. It's an old movie from the 70s, but it's Marathon Man with Dustin Hoffman, and he's literally about to be tortured, and there's that light, right? So, I mean, really, what's the difference between that and this? Really? And especially at bed at night, and okay, you've all heard the question, Jay, maybe from your younger days, but like, do I look fat in these jeans, right? Okay, so do I look fat in this vacation rental, right? You're going to look fat in that with that light glaring down, okay? So there's not going to be a lot of romance going on in here with this looming ceiling fan. So, so what I suggest is, a very light ceiling fan. I understand that probably these properties do need some air circulation, and there's nothing wrong with fans. But this one, for example, is more modern. It's stainless steel, and so your eye isn't necessarily going to see that as much. It can also be a nice bronze color if the color scheme is calls for that. But it's just nice. It's it's not just looming, and your eye isn't really gonna see it too much. It's just going to be giving you some nice air circulation, and there's no light on there. And I suggest
what you want with this, right? You don't want it to be that looming ceiling fan that you want it to kind of just blend in with the whole design.
Exactly, because when you get these heavy fans above a bed, there's also this psychological mechanism that starts igniting in our brains, and it might be very subconscious, but it's sort of like, oh my gosh, this thing could fall on me too.
Yeah, especially if it's a little wobbly. People will, my boys do that too. Mom, my fan's a little wobbly. Is it gonna fall? No. No.
Yeah, exactly. So you want something light and just that's going to do the job, and it's not going to be really a decor statement.
Okay.
So
great. So
anyway, I've addressed that, and now we're going to go into the cheap art prints. Okay, so this is another thing I always encounter. Not always, but more often than not, I encounter cheap art prints in vacation rentals. I think that there's that tendency to go to the framing shop or the big box store that has these and just sort of pick out some things like, oh, I've got to put something on the wall. This king print here with the kind of ugly frame is fine. It's not okay. It really isn't. I mean, as much thought needs to be put into your artwork as your furniture and your colors and everything else. And it's really not any more expensive to find something appropriate than something inappropriate. So, for example, I found these on Etsy. These are
pretty
photographs done by a photographer. I don't know where she photographs, but they're just beautiful beach scenes, and there's the small shell there, And these 4 together, I think they go for $48 for the 4.
Oh, and, very nice.
And you could get just very plain white frames. I always sort of err on the side of simplicity and think that I recommend that people go with very simple frames. Don't go for anything that looks gilded or, you know, shiny or plastic. You know, pretend like you're in a museum and notice the way they frame things in museums. And it doesn't mean spending a lot of money, just the simplest thing that you can find. And then people really see what you have inside the frame. So in her rental, for example, she's on the beach. So I would recommend, you know, a group of 4, all by the same photographer, grouped in this way. And I just think it would be stunning.
As soon as I looked at it, I felt like a calming effect.
Exactly.
It really made me feel something, and that's really something that owners and management companies need to know, is that a booking is a sale, and a sale is based on a feeling. Like, we have to translate what are the benefits you're going to get from this, and this, you know, photos like this translate a feeling of serenity, calmness, relaxation. So it's all in those little things that you're pointing out, Mercedes, that I think overall really transfer a feeling of what this property could be like if you stood here. And I think this is a great way to.
That's a really good point, Jay. It definitely. The images, and I was going to say that too, is that the images, I definitely err on the side of tranquil. Naturescapes are really, you know, they can really work to make people feel more relaxed, and that's exactly what you want. You just want people to chill out, you know.
Yeah, I love the grouping you picked out, Mercedes, and the way they contrast each other too. You know, one view from the beach, one view to the island, then the birds, and then the little macro shell. And it's beautiful.
Yes, and Wendy could maybe find a local photographer that, you know, could take some photos, or that are similar to this, that would be of actually her area, so that would be even more authentic. So
yeah,
I'm all about authenticity.
Really brings into the branding as well.
So the third problem with the bedrooms, and all of the bedrooms have this problem, and the 2 of you mentioned it earlier, is the bedding. The bedding is a big problem. The bedding looks dated. In general, I don't like a coverlet like that's covering the bed entirely with matching coverlet sort of pillows. The brown pillows are just, frankly, I'm sorry, they're ugly. They're not attractive at all. And then the skirt on the bottom, the entire scenario is basically this. It's very tucked in and proper and kind of granny-ish. I call it the granny bed, and I don't even like to say granny bed because I had a great relationship with my grandmother, and she was so
granny.
I know, exactly. My grandmother wore like Poochie, right? But I don't know what else to call it. Like, should I just call it the, you know, the tea lady bed? I don't, you know, I don't know what to call it, but you don't want her in your bedroom. Look at how disapproving she is, right?
Yeah, that doesn't look like there's very much fun going on there.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing. It's just it's in a bed. It's her in your bedroom. So this is like
visuals that I just don't even. I mean, this is
okay.
So this next bedroom shot is what I think represents the perfect vacation rental bedroom. It is, well, except for the hanging light. So you have to Photoshop that out, Tyann, that hanging light. That is,
absolutely.
That
no
is
problem.
You know, we don't want any light glaring down. But I want you guys to look at this bedding. Do you see this bedding? It's actually, they didn't make the bed, which I think is kind of genius. It still looks very beautiful and becoming and kind of seductive, but it's not perfectly made up. And I think that actually really seduces people into wanting to stay in that bedroom. It does not, it's absolutely not Victorian tea lady. It's like, get in there, look at, they've even put a magazine in the bed there.
Yeah.
So, I'm all for, so first of all, I'm all for white sheets, 2 pillows on each side, a duvet just like this one, and a throw, thrown casually at the bottom of the bed. And I have some things that would work in all of Wendy's bedrooms. There's the coverlet here. This is from Wisteria. No, actually, this is Serena and Lily. I'm all for not organic, but natural materials. So linens, cottons. In some locations, it's appropriate to have wool in the colder vacation rentals, but linens and cottons I recommend at beach rentals. And linen is wonderful because it looks good wrinkled. So you don't have to worry about people thinking, oh, it's not ironed. It looks better when it's wrinkled. So I recommend white sheets and a duvet cover over that and a throw, and then some decorative pillows that actually don't match the duvet. I kind of go for a sort of unmatched look that coordinates with it, but still looks like it belongs there. And these pillows are, again, an artist sells these on Etsy, and they're really not very expensive. They're from antique Chinese textiles, and I think they go for about $35 for each one.
Oh, wow. I mean, that's the same price you'd find at Target or Walmart almost.
Exactly. So, this all, looks a lot better. And also, even in this photo, this is a promotional photo for Serena and Lily, and you notice how that bed isn't perfectly made. Right. So it's just more becoming with that. And I really recommend that people see the white sheets underneath, because white sheets there is this huge marketing power in white sheets. All high-end and boutique hotels use white sheets, and there's just this sense of everything is so sterile and clean, and people trust them more. I do not recommend anything but white sheets ever. That's one of those absolutes for me. So
makes a lot of sense, yeah, and it just looks more upscale too, I think.
I think so. There's definitely something more upscale about it. So now I'm going to go to the last problem with all of her bedrooms, and that is that she has done everything matches. I call this matchy-matchy. Is there a matchy-matchy problem here? and there's nothing wrong with any of these pieces. In fact, Wendy might even do something like trade out some of the pieces in her other bedrooms and to make it so that things don't match as much. The problem with matching, this is one of the first things I learned when I got my master's in interior design, is one of the absolute no-nos is do not match things. It makes it very unspecial and very generic. So the problem is that a lot of us go to these furniture warehouses or furniture stores, and we're encouraged to get sets. And if you look at this warehouse, I mean, these are really beautiful pieces in and of themselves. But if you put it all in one room together, it's just boring. Yeah. It's so boring. So you could go to that same showroom, but you might want to take a bed, like for example. Something like this is going to work. You could, have different colored night tables. You could, this is again Serena and Lily. I have these two sort of coral colored night tables that would go very well with the beach theme. And then these are Target lights. These are from Target, and they're literally $49 each. And they're sort of
that looks awesome together, Mercedes.
And you see, and it's a different, there's a different headboard there. She has a white headboard in her bedroom, and I think that maybe taking out that headboard and switching it with, maybe she has something similar to this in one of her other bedrooms. I don't know. And then, she doesn't have to buy these tables.
You're suggesting switching out pieces from different bedrooms?
Yes, I definitely think so, because there's this dynamic, it makes it compelling. People notice things when they don't match. It's just this, yeah. And if you look at any decor magazine, if you look at Elle Decor or Coastal Living or Domino magazine, you will see that they don't have anything that matches. Everything goes together, but it doesn't match. So anyway, here's the final presentation. Yeah.
Wow.
So we have, better art. We have, a really becoming and seductive bedding. We have a nice fan that does not have a light at the top. And we have actually better bedroom lighting too. I didn't specifically address that, but these lights are going to be higher, are going to give off more light if people want to read in bed. So those are my suggestions, and I don't think that this would be hard for Wendy to do, and I don't think it would be very expensive either.
Yeah, it looks
So,
comfortable, inviting, very up to date, and makes you think, okay, this is a place I could enjoy.
Yes, and believe me, people very much respond to bedrooms. So
it's
I recommend it.
it's beach chic, huh?
Yes, beach chic.
No, I think it really really updates her property. I think the way that it's being presented now, just I can take it or leave it. So we want people to say I want to take it more than they are willing to leave it. We got to make them want this vacation rental. And I think the decor, the website, the photographs, and everything and how this presentation comes together really builds up that desire. And when we fail to bring these elements together is when we really, don't get the bookings we deserve. So
Very much so.
I'm sure Wendy's been doing this a long time, so I'm sure she's a professional and deserves, to be booked. But it just takes some work to do it. And I think what we're going to present to her today will really change that. Well, I'm going to go ahead and take it now.
Yes, we want to see what you have planned.
All right. I don't know. You guys are a hard act to follow, so I'll do my best here. All right. I'm going to cover website design, presentation, and I'm also going to cover some marketing and SEO stuff. So stuff that will really help you guys make some money if you follow these instructions and help.